if you're feeling lost, you don't really know who you are, you don't know where you want to go, you don't know where you're going to go, you don't know where you're going right now, you don't know what to do, you're unhappy with life, unhappy with yourself, you don't have any goals, no dreams, this is you. I guarantee you it's because of one main reason. And I see it everywhere today because we live in a world where it's so easy to compare with somebody, and it's so easy to want what this one person has or what this one other person has. It's so easy to want more. It's so easy to want a certain lifestyle that isn't really fit for you, but you chase it because that's all you know, that's all you see, and that's what you think is right. But the reason it's not right is because that's just not your path. That's that person's path. That's someone else's path. You have a unique path that's been laid out for you since the beginning by God himself. And that's what he calls all of us to do, is to walk down the path he's created for us. Now you're probably saying right now, well, I don't know what my path is. And that's the problem. You have a specific path laid out for you, specifically unique to you, no one else. And that person that you're chasing to be like, that you're chasing attention from, or you want his money, or you want their clothes, their lifestyle, whatever it is, that's what you think you want. It's not. It's uniquely for that person. The reason we're all so lost nowadays is because we're creating this alternate reality for ourselves where we're too invested in other people's lives. I mean, when you think about what social media is, what it does, it's really just a platform where you post your content, post opinions, beliefs, whatever it is. And you have all these people watching that, all these people invested in what this person has to say. And you see how bad it's becoming. So many people are just lost because they don't even know about themselves. They don't know who they are. I think this is pretty common today, and I think it's very true as to why a lot of people are just feeling lost or don't have any direction in their lives. That's what it was for me. And I realized that I had to make the decision. I need to figure out who I am. I need to figure out who Jake is, because I never asked myself that before. And then once I started realizing that life just keeps going, the earth is spinning whether we like it or not. Life is continually moving every single day. I had to stop. I had to ask myself, who am I? Who do I want to be? What do I want to do? I had to get away from all the distractions. I had to get away from always just wanting someone to cling on to or wanting someone to hold on to, and realize that I got to do this myself. And once you ask that to yourself, it's hard, because you kind of feel lonely. You feel like an outsider, because when you notice that most people aren't doing this, most people nowadays are simply just doing the opposite. But you do it because you have a feeling inside of you that tells you that this is right, that tells you that this is good, and that's how you know you just got to stick with it. And that's God talking to you right there. And the thing about him is he's always talking. You just got to pick up the phone. You got to pick up the phone and listen. And once you start listening, it opens up. You see things the way it's supposed to be seen through your eyes, because you have that unique path that's specific for you. I want you to think about all the things that make you you. I even want you to think about the stuff that you did when you were little that you always did, and that still is a part of you in some way, because I believe that we all have certain things that just don't change. They stay the same. Now, there's other parts that, sure, they grow and mature, because that's what humans do. We grow and we evolve. But there's always something about us that's going to stay the same throughout our lives. And I found that to be true by myself. There's always certain aspects of my personality that have, grown a little bit, but it's still relatively the same as when I was a kid. It's just enhanced, because I'm older now. So I want y'all to think about that, because that's very important. And if you're not praying, I really suggest you start praying, because when you start to listen to God, when you take the time to listen, he talks to you. And when he starts talking to you, it's very easy to start to realize that, okay, I've got to make some changes in my life. I've got to start, number one, praying more, talking to God more, because whenever you speak out what you're looking for, he opens it up to you and you start to see it. That's how the universe works. So start praying. And once you start praying, you'll start seeing these things happen more. So I encourage you all to do this and think about what makes you alive. What makes you feel alive? What makes you feel like passionate about something? There's always something in the world that's going on. Like something that's like, it just screams like, man, I wish they would do something. I wish they would change this. I wish they would do something about this. Someone's got to do something about this. I need you to think about that. That's what makes you feel alive. That's your purpose right there. And now it's going to be different for somebody else, but it's going to be unique for you. And that's what's so important. That's what's beautiful about life. And you think about, I know y'all have probably seen a bunch of videos. At least I always used to, I liked watching the older videos, like people in school, like kids in school record like a VHS camera before they had iPhones and all that crap. Because it was before everyone had phones. So the social scene was just completely different. And I think a lot of people, at least this is what I thought, it seemed like they were just way happier. They were a lot more happy. And they just had more fun. I think all of us can speak on that. Because it's true. They were more content with just life and themselves. They knew who they were. And now you see how people interact today. Like, people don't even talk to anyone in the hallways anymore. Everyone's on their phones, whatever. I feel like the minute everyone gets out of class, they're just on their phones. And you're missing out on so much interaction, so much life. Because, phone, this is just a device. Like, I bought this at the store, It was never originally a part of me. I created it in my life. I made it a part of me. So when you think about it like that, it's just kind of easier to detach from it because we become so attached. We act like it's a part of us. It's not a part of us. It's a device. So that's one way to think of it. But I think that's why, they were happier, is because they knew how to interact with each other. They were more content with themselves. They had the time to just, be alone more. They weren't always seeking more, seeking something to keep them from being bored or keep them from, being alone, And I feel like that's what we let our phones do to us now. It prevents us from experiencing these things that we learn about ourselves. So it's hard to learn about yourself whenever you don't put yourself in certain situations or when you don't put yourself out there or even give yourself the chance to think about who you are. And, the phones make it pretty hard to do that. And I think that's a large reason as to why people were happier back in the day in those videos that you see. Obviously, it can be avoided. It's just a device. Just don't create that attachment to it. And you won't think like that. You won't have to always resort to it to keep you from experiencing things. Because that's not what life's about. Life is about experiencing things. I'm not even making this video about phones. I'm making this video about just how I think we're so invested in other people's lives and how we're not worried about creating our own path, but following down someone else's that's already been laid out. Yeah, look at this. If I can turn it. There you go. Look at that. It's beautiful. And it's been here since the beginning. This is all there was. It was just beauty, everything in harmony. Look at the birds. Oh my gosh. It's gorgeous out here. Ain't that right, Chrissy? Man, she's scared. She's scared of the camera. But I want y'all to think about this. I want you to think about if this is something that you feel like you're feeling in your life or experiencing in your life. And I want you to try and just take the time, I'm going to pray, and just think about what makes you feel alive. What are you passionate about? And start to think about how you can implement these things in your life and ask God to help you find that direction. And then I promise you, you're gonna find it. So I appreciate y'all watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.